Hello everyone and welcome to uh, Wilds of... No, not Wilds of Eldraine, what I'm talking about. Lost Caverns of Ixalan draft, and it's gonna be a Dino draft. Well, maybe not, of course. Uh, the first pick doesn't mean I'm gonna be Dinos, but this pack has two really good Dinos. Of course, the rare is just a pretty... Sometimes even feels like unfair when the opponent can, or you can play this on turn 3 and then maybe even have some other dinos to prevent the stun counter, and then it's just an overstated creature that without proper removal or like a death toucher or something is just gonna be a huge clock. You can't take the hits too many times, you can't easily block these unless you have one of the aforementioned things. It's just can be, even though it's like a vanilla creature, it's just too many stats for considering its mana cost, that it's gonna be easily the pick over the other good options this pack has. One of them is the Colossdactyl. The Cloud Guard is really good. There's a good white 2-drop. Yeah, it's a good pack, but I would have liked to open that in sealed when I would have gotten both the rare and the uncommon dino. Okay, so nothing for dinos really. Nothing for dinos here. The rare is good, but you know, it's good in black-red. I'm not gonna take it now and hope that I can play a black-red deck. The Guardian of the Great Door is not necessarily something you wanna second pick. I'm not taking a green card, the Hidden Nursery. Well, it's not green, but you know. Because lands are colorless, and just in case you didn't know that. But yeah, the two basically options for a green deck are not gonna be strong enough. I'm actually thinking about something like the River Herald Scout. I don't think the Rumbling Rockslide is that good of removal that you would second pick it. 4 mana and sorcery speed is quite a requirement. I don't think I like the Iceberg more than the Scout when I don't know about where my deck is heading. So I think I'll take the Scout. It's always going to be a fine 2-drop, regardless of your colors. But that was a really disappointing pack 2. Considering how strong the pack 1 was with multiple good first pickable options. Now, okay, well, this is a pack with nice options. I do like the rare. You usually will get a reasonable effect out of these, and especially because you can always have, you can treat this as a 3/1 flash for 3 mana that gains you 2 life and scries 2. That's always going to be a card I would play in basically every white deck. But then you can get to choose the other 2 modes when they are more beneficial, so that's nice. It's going to be better than the pop, very similar cards. At least considering the flashness, the mana value, and the stats. Alright, but I could take the Kincaller, I could take the Frog. I'm not taking the Plunderer, so am I gonna take the Frog or the Kincaller here? I think the Frog is still better, even though the Kincaller... and I'm gonna take a green card. Yeah, the Flanker isn't that good. I'm gonna take a green card, but the thing is that with the Hammer Skull you want to have actually dinos. But this is just such a good 2-drop, I can't really justify, I can't justify picking the 3-drop over that, even if I want to really be dinos here. Okay, this pack has only 1 green card, which is playable but not a high priority. You don't usually want to pack 1 pick for that kind of a card. You will get those later on. Now, I do have the River Herald Scout. This could be a blue-green deck once again. And for that, I think I like the Blunder. I think the Self-Reflection is better in decks where you have a bunch of self-mill, so you can actually mill this card to get this effect at 4 mana without waiting until hitting the 6th mana. I think this is a very decent card, but given my green cards, I'll take just the Blunder here. You could take the white removal, but I don't think it's like that. Like that, good that you would want to necessarily move away from your colors, because of course I'd rather maybe be blue-green here. But why is again a Kabarok the Sunborn here? It's pick 5, it's like a first pickable card. Someone took a rare, then the commons are missing. But this doesn't fit my colors at all. I mean, if I would have gotten this option after picking the Hammer Skull, I would just take this, even though it doesn't fit in a green deck. But now that I have 2 blue and 2 green cards in here, which are all quite fine, at least fine, I could just take another scout here and move on and let someone else be the white-red player. Because the scout is here, I'm gonna take it. And Charter Course and a Pathfinding Axe Jaw. Alright, I think my colors, you know, the blue and green are open here. They are. The question is, am I gonna take the Axe Jaw or the card that I think is better, the Charter Course? The thing is, I would really want to have a Dino Friends for this Hammer Skull. But Charter Course is really efficient. 2 mana draw 2. Sometimes you have to discard, but quite often you don't have to. I would really like to have Axe Jaws in this deck. I have even the Frog to accelerate into a turn 3 Axe Jaw. But I think I still take the Charter Course. It is just a better card. Alright, another Poison Dart Frog. Thank you very much. Over stuff. And Capybara, Seeker, Pirate's Hat. Not really a Pirate Hat deck here, is it? I don't think so. I don't think it's necessarily going to be like a deck that cares about these things, especially because I have 4 2-drops creatures, you know, already. I'll take the Over the Edge. It's a nice sideboard card to have access to. It's a pretty early stage to be picking sideboard cards, but then again, there was not that much in that deck. I don't think I care about the Stone 3 mana Accelerant, Craft with a Cave, and you only get like a 6 mana 5/5. I think out of these options, I'd still take the Capybara over the Sage of Days. Now, this would be better in a dedicated Descent deck, but I don't know if I'm there yet. Okay, I do seem to get all the Capybaras. Well, I will take it. Oh, I got the Kin Collar here. There's also a Hidden Cataract, which I would like to have, but of course the Kin Collar is now great to at least have some chance to make this Hammer Skull not get the stun counters. Here I can take the Veteran over the Reminiscence. I think the Veteran is pretty nice with 2 Poison Dart Frogs. I can accelerate into a turn 4. And this I don't like too much. I'll take another 5/4. Now I would rather my 5-drops to be Dinos, or let's say expensive cards to be Dinos. But I take the stuff I have here. Didact Echo, sure. I mean, I don't really play this card often, but I could see playing it. Song of Stupefaction is probably not a card I'm gonna play in this deck. Alright, how many Galdas I have? Well, the thing is, this is an 8 mana card, but I have 2 Poison Dart Frogs. Yes, and you know, one of the reasons I'm thinking about it is because it's a mythic rare. I still need 3 more to complete the set. Among other cards I still need. But there's a Kin Collar, there's a Charter Curse number 2, there's a Huatli's Final Strike. All these are very, very good options. But because I do have 2 Poison Dart Frogs, I'm gonna take this and play it. It's not just red drafting, I'm actually gonna play this with the 2 frogs. It's not even that good, you know. But if I can find some other, look at this, another Sunborn being passed, along with an upgrade. You know, if I can get some more Poison Dart Frogs and maybe some other means to get mana, I'm not sure what that would be. Even though you don't usually have other creatures in your hand when you cast this. But it's still a 12/12 trample. And it's gonna hit hard. Anyway, here I'm gonna take the Final Strike. It's not really even, there's not really an option other than that for me in that pack. Council of Echoes, Note Scout, Cave Worm. Another scout of the 2 mana kind. I don't think I'm gonna a Descent deck. And it's gonna be one of the scouts. I can also just cut the Capybaras. I don't think I need them because I have all these. Come on, what's happening? I have these cheap cards already. I don't think the 1-drop thing is slightly better than the 2-drop, although This will be a more relevant body. Both are Merfolk Scouts. I don't really know. You could take either of those. The extra toughness can matter, but then again, yeah, I guess this costs half that much. Let's just take the green one. Okay, Nikanzil. I have a very decent amount of explorer things already. Well, I guess it's only 3 for now, but the plunderer can give me a map. I'm taking the Nikanzil, but I would definitely take the keen color. I could try having this if I get some caves, but I mean, out of these options, it would be the conductor and the keen color I'm looking to get first. But yeah, I'm gonna take the 2-drop here. And Cavern Stomper. I'm not playing the Hurl into History. Whenever I have tried to play this, it's failed basically all the time. You need to get lucky to actually get a good spot to leave mana open and the opponent plays into it, and you get something good. I'll take the Cavern Stomper again. I have 2 Poison Dart Frogs and something nice for the Hammer Skull. I can take a Stomper here. Another Nikanzil. And a couple of these, instants which are both fine. I think I would maybe... I'm not even sure which one of those I would take, but here I'll just take the Nikanzil and now anything that explores will be slightly better, but there's not really any of that. I'll take the uncommon trick. I sometimes use this, but not really gonna main deck it. Okay, well, this does give me a Scry and Explore, and maybe with 2 Nikanzils this is worth it, and the other stuff that explores. I might still find other exploring effects. Yeah, I think I'll take the Twists and Turns now. This also becomes an extra land, which might help me cast the Galta. That said, the staggering size is very decent in Dino decks, but I don't really have the medium-sized Dinos, and the veterans already trample, so I don't think it's like that necessary in this particular deck. And I might play the Brine Fang here. Do I want to play the Seed Stones? I don't really think. Do I want to play the Brine Fang? Okay, fine. Let's take the Seed Stones. It's maybe a little bit more exciting card to consider running. It's still a 7 mana 7/7 that gains you some life later in the game. Crafting with the creature shouldn't be a problem, like ever. Alright, Triumphant Jump. I'm not playing any of these. I'll just take the Jump because why not? Okay, I have if I need a 4 mana blocker, I guess I have the option for that. Okay, I got the Keen Collar back. In both packs pretty late. I'm very happy about that. Now I need like one other River Herald Scout or something, and I have a nice support for either the Nikanzils. Anyway, the Hurl into History is gonna go to sideboard. I mean, I'm willing to consider sideboarding it in, but I'm not starting with that thing in the main deck. Alright, well, there is an Explorer thing which I would really want to have for the Nikanzils, but there's a Kitesail Alasonist. If you don't know what it does, you can pause and read it because I'm not going to explain it. It's a fairly simple effect, but it's also a really good card. And I'm gonna just take it and move on. Okay, another Explorer card which I would like to have for the Nikanzils, but there's another very powerful blue rare. I'm of course taking the Malcolm. Again, it's just so good, even if it doesn't really synergize with my deck. You would basically play a 2 mana 2/1 Flash Flyer if it's not a double caster, always when you are in that color, and then this makes you loot, and then if you if you can actually connect the 4th time, this is just gonna be insane. So yeah, I wouldn't mind the Eaten by Piranhas, I wouldn't mind this, but this is the best card in the pack. So I'll take that, and here it's very easy. Oh, is it though? It is actually, because this is a craft with an artifact. I barely have any. I might have some token generating, but actually, yeah, the needle is usually quite nice, but it's nice in decks that way you can craft it reliably. This deck won't be able to do that, and I just want to play the Scout anyway. I have actually now a lot of 2-drops, but I don't think it's a problem. The quality of the 2-drops is so good that it's no big deal. Okay. Oh man, I'm gonna gotta pick for Sentinel of the Nameless City. Well, it's just a great, great rare as well. I'm taking that. And I'm not even sure if I needed a third frog that much. I would not mind having another Final Strike, but this is of course just the best card in the pack, so thank you very much. Also, it does create map tokens, which are good with the Nikansil. Bragis Plunder number 2. I think I will prefer the, the interaction here, even though bounce is the kind of interaction that is not permanent way to deal with stuff, but it's still good at countering combat tricks and all that. And you get the map token, which is relevant for the double Nikansil. And any other gifts? Okay, Seeker of Sunlight. The first one of these I saw, at that point I had no Nikanzils. Now I have 2. Do I want to play that or pick another Stomper? Because I think I might want to have the Stomper and just cut the Veterans and the Didact Echo. I don't think I'm gonna use 3 mana for this thing, despite having the Nikanzils in here. So I'll just take this Stomper. I guess you could take the Stupefaction number 2, but let's take the big Dino. Okay, Keen Color number 3. I didn't really need to pick these things high. I got 3 of them regardless. And here I have an Out of Air. I actually, well, because I don't need the Capybaras, I have 2 of them in the sideboard. I don't need 2 Didact Echoes. I'll take the Out of Air, which I don't intend to main deck, but it's a good sideboard option against some like bomb creatures like the Mythic Rare Gods. Well, River Herald Guide is the option I'm gonna take from these. Don't know really if my 3-drop slot is a little bit too expensive. Not expensive, but I mean there are a lot of 3s. I don't need to have all of those. So I don't think I'm gonna take another guide. I'll take the Eaten by Piranhas easily over the self-reflection. It's a little bit of interaction in this deck. In this deck that clearly is lacking some. Stone Tree for the I don't have any caves, so no. I'll just take the uncommon. I'm not playing those echoes. Not even the first one. I guess I could see like, well no, I'm not gonna play double Scythe either. Okay, there's the Seeker of Sunlight very late. Do I have to betray you? I said I'm gonna play the Calder, but looking at the deck, I don't really need an 8-drop. I really don't need an 8-drop in here. I mean, my curb toppers are the 2 Cavern Stompers. I might play one, or I might play like one of the Veterans, maybe 2, but I'm not playing the Echo. Let's just ignore this. I didn't realize. I didn't know. How could I have known that I'm getting all this card quality from these cheaper cards? I don't really need this guy. I really don't need this guy. I have ways to win without the 12 Trampler, given the decent amount of synergy and all in this deck. I'll just have to cut it. I'm sorry. I said I'm gonna play it, but I am actually not going to do that. There's so many cuts to make anyway. Any easy cuts? I don't think they're even easy. I'm going to cut the Song of Stupefaction, and I actually do want to play all the 3 mana spells. I don't need the K-Wem. But yeah, this is a lot of cuts. 11 blue cards, 19 green. Guess I could see cutting 1 Veteran. And let's see the creature curve. It's very focused on the early drops. Very focused on the early drops. And for that reason, I kind of am interested in playing the Seed Stones. Because enhancing, these guys can be really the difference between being able to attack or not. I'm very likely to have a 2-drop and a 3-drop, given that this curve. This has 7 3-mana creatures so far. I mean, I might still cut some. And 8 2-mana creatures. Okay, well, this I guess helped me ramp to 4. But that's the thing, this deck actually doesn't benefit from ramping to 4. given my other 2-drops, do I even need the frogs? I have one final strike, which is like a little bit of a reason to run a frog, because, well, at 5 mana I can give this death touch and then make it kill anything, but I have only one of them. I could actually see cutting a frog in here, especially now that I did cut the 8 mana Galta. But maybe I will play one still. This is now 7 2-drops. And I think I have enough Explore in the deck to not play the Seeker of Sunlight, really. Because, I have just the actual creatures that explore. I have 1, 4 here, 5th one here, and then there's the Sentinel of Nameless City, which is gonna give me a map token. This allows me to, so that's like a, how many? 5th way, 6th way to explore actually. At least once. This is a 7th way to explore. The Brackish Plunderers can give me an 8th and 9th way to explore. So my Nicancils will be benefiting from explore effects. I can cut the Seeker of Sunlight here. And now the cuts, I need to make at least one cut. There's no way I'm gonna play less than 16 lands. 16 is the minimum, and I'm thinking between the Veteran, the Seed Stones. Dino count is 6. I'm gonna play all the dinos. I think that the Seed Stones can be quite good, because when these are like 2/3s, they might slightly be not able to attack profitably. Maybe the opponent has like a 3/1, or they have a 3/3 or something. If I can give this guy one additional counter, it can enable a nice attack. And same applies for the 3/3s. A 3/3 turning into a 4/4 or 5/5 can just start attacking and hit for quite a bunch. So I think the Seed Stones are a card I wouldn't mind having in this deck. I will play it, but how many? Okay, 18 creatures, 7 non-creatures. I don't think I'm going to cut any of the, well, I'm not cutting the Charter Cause, and not any of the interaction, and not the thing that combines with my Explorer stuff and the Nicancils. And also it does turn into a land that can help you dig for more stuff, of course, later in the game. When your 7th land enters, then I can transform this into the Mycoid Maze and start basically never running out of gas. But one card is needed, and now I'm thinking about the Veteran. I think it is the Veteran here. So this will be my high end, the Cavern Stompers, and I guess the Seed Stones turning into a 7/7 at some point. So you gain life based on the mana value of the exiled creature, so which usually will be like maybe 3, but could be 6 with these Stompers. Yeah, I think I have to play just 16 lands, because I have still one frog in here, and look at the number of cheap explore effects. These do help you hit your land drops, and I really don't need to get more than, well, I might need to get to 6, but I will have games where I don't have either of these Stompers in my hand, and I don't need it really. But yeah, 16 lands it is. Charter Cause. This thing, yeah, the Explorer I have available will be good enough to make me not need more lands, and also I don't have any caves, so every land will be a basic land. I'm almost tempted to run one of the Malamet's guides to have like a little bit of a way to push, because I'm lacking interaction, and the size of my creatures might not always be good enough. But the problem is I don't really want to cut any of these cards anymore. It maybe would be like a decision between the Seed Stones. But I could see sideboarding this, and I will identify the weakest card for the matchup, and I can sideboard in 1 or maybe even 2 of them. But let's keep this as the main deck. Add the lands, and think it's gonna be very even. I have early blue, early green. It's an 8/8 mana base, and Let's go. That is the main deck. Yep. Fine one. 2-drop, 3-drop. And I am pretty likely to be able to cast this on turn 6 unless they make me exile or discard from my hand, but that doesn't seem to be the case for those colors. Spell, please. No. It's a shame because this would have been a good blocker on the 2-2. Now it's pretty useless unless I find my Jade Seed Stones. But I will have a 3-3 to block there, and I will show the Stomper. If they have like a pacifism effect and they will wait for the Stomper to be cast, so be it. 3 life will be more valuable. Okay, please don't... No, annoying. I needed either this thing to be a 3-1 or just this become a 3-2, but the opposite happened. Okay, I have another scout there. So this thing. And yes, I could have played the scout and maybe have a block on this thing, but I still wanted to do a mana efficient thing. I have so many 2-drops that it's possible I will draw one, and then I can double spell on this turn. Now they have the whirlpool for my 6-6 waiting, but so be it. At least this thing is gonna allow me to scry for 2. Green, white. Right, Aspirant, do they want to have that? And now... Okay, they actually chose not to attack with the guide. And I keep drawing all these lands. Come on, hit a spell for once. My starting hand didn't have that many lands. A little bit... I don't actually like this, but I have so many ways to still explore that I'm gonna draw the guaranteed spell rather than just hit a land. That would be a disaster if on the next turn I have no spell at all. So what are they doing? I have some double blocks available, but they're of course very risky against any tricks they might have. Yeah, I have to do the safe thing. And the safe thing is to go for this and this block. Now I will only trade 1 for 1 if they have tricks. It's a shame they have the whirlpool waiting, because now that they had that stuff, I actually won't be having a good enough board to block here on the 5-4, but I can trade with the guide here. And they of course need a 6th mana for them. Whirlpool to exile this when it's untapped, but I mean, if they keep drawing spells, that's not good for me either. Although if it's just a 2-2, maybe it's not such a big deal. Yeah, so if I was able to have this alive, at least the guide would have done something, but oh well. Let's go and scry 2. That's gonna be good even if they can kill it, although I'm almost dead if they do get to find the land immediately. Can I survive here? Brack's Plunder is really not going to help me, so I'm gonna get rid of both of them. I need to draw an actual permanent thing here. So if they don't find a land now, they don't have a good attack unless they do some other kind of interaction. Okay, that's the land. So I got 1 turn here. Now if this becomes a 4-2 with the Explorer, I can block the Axe Jaw. But I'm still dying to all this other stuff. Alright, well this was a good one. That was finally a good draw for me. Alright. They have the Captivating Cave though, that's nice. And I still keep drawing these lands. Alright. Well, let's make them use the exile spell first. I have 16 basic lands in the deck. This is now 9, so I have 7 left and 17 spells. So they're gonna whirlpool that guy. I'm gonna kill doesn't actually matter. They can exile that. I don't need to show them the final strike. I can make the River Herald Guide kill the Axjo anyway. So maybe they make like a bit worse attack now or something. I don't know. I'm curious they're doing that. I'm curious they're doing that. Okay, well they kind of gave me some time. I'm not gonna block that thing. I'll take 2. Now if I draw my one of the other 6/6 in my deck, that's like the only thing that makes it so that I should use this now. Okay, fine. I think I need to get a little lucky. The reason I wanted to think about this because they have the Captivating Cave here. But at least with that thing can block without any kind of stun counters. I'm also supposed to leave 1 land in my hand if I draw the Explore enchantment. That will transform into a land if I play a land. It doesn't transform automatically when I have 7 lands. It only, I think, checks it once a land enters the battlefield. So the Captivating Cave is not going to be. Oh, it is now a problematic situation. And they even had the land. Oh, that's perfect. Is they can make a. Not sure that was the. I think they were supposed to make this. No, maybe not. All right. Yep. Well, that was too many lands I drew here, and they had the answers. Well, I guess I'm not exactly dead because I have the frog that can trade with the aspirant and take 2 here. They get a little bit too many scries here, so that's one of the reasons they haven't flooded out like I have. It's very scary if they leave a thing on top, but I guess they wouldn't leave any creature on top. When I'm at this life total, I will go down to 1 here. So it doesn't mean anything. Okay, they just still chose to. They thought about it. So what can I draw here? Maybe the thing that gives me 3 life, you know, I still have 2 of them left. Alright. Tended of the Myco Tyrant. Well, this is a good one, it's just not good enough when the Myco Tyrant is there. I need more guys. I guess the exploring can help. I'm actually taking this. Because now that I got this into a 4/5, I will actually have a good block in here. And they are missing lands too. Oh, I didn't realize that I will just lose here. I mean, I somehow thought that this blocking is gonna be enough, but now I'm at 1. I will die. Okay, that was that. Green, white. They have a combat tricks. Out of air is probably not what I need here, but I'm kind of interested in having another scythe. I mean, a first scythe to kind of somehow enhance my own guy's size as well. But again, the problem is I don't know what to cut. It's not going to be any of the interactive spells. I mean, the guide is the worst, but I do like it with the Nicancils. Seed Stones also seems good enough here to run. I don't think I particularly need the veteran or stuff like that. I really want to play 1 scythe. But the problem is what to cut. Maybe just the other frog. No frogs, even though it's so good, but if I had 4 drops, which I don't have, that would be a good card, the frog I mean, but I don't have any ramping from 2 to 4 plays available. Okay, Another great starter. I mean, my starter in the previous game was good, but I just drew so many lands. Even the Explorer showed me only lands. So that's what kind of made it miserable. But now if I can do stuff with here, and I can, of course, this can neutralize something. This is a great hand if I don't flood out similarly. Opponent did mulligan, I think. Yeah, they had 7 cards in hand. Alright, it's time for the Nikanzil to shine. Usually white-green isn't that easily gonna take it like a petrify, but it doesn't even matter too much. And I'm gonna start doing the exploring here right away. Keen color is fine. Pick a counter in there. Yeah, because I could have played a mana efficient way, but I don't think it was necessary. Right, no exiling there, and they get a land now, so they don't have a good block this time. If I explore into a land, I can... Sorry, that's not the case. This will put tapped lands on the battlefield. So the question is, should I just play a 3-drop now? Well, let's see first if they block that thing. I think I'm just gonna do this. Yeah, Hammer Skull seems like a good one. Yeah, they are in bit of a trouble now. My 2-drop is basically a 4-5 now. Well, it is. So if they want to exile that, they still have a lot of things to deal with. Because they have the exile at exile at 3 mana a tapped creature, but alright, so now that yeah, the Hammer Skull is good, but if they didn't get a land in here, I mean, if they got a land, I could still attack with the Nikanzil and them not trading, because I can attack them to 7, leave them a treasure. I can play only one of these things. I don't want to trade the Nikanzil, I want to keep the pressure. Although, yeah, I want to keep the pressure. I also get a 2-3 flyer. So nothing from me, this thing from them. Because now if they deal with the Nikanzil or get a big blocker, I guess if they have like a 4-5 reach, trample the uncommon, then I need to wait for this thing to attack. But now I have basically 2 ways to still keep dealing damage. Okay, they have a Paladin's Hatcher, so I help them a little bit. But I think no, they still have to deal with the Larcenist. They won't get back this anymore because they sacked the treasure. Now, oh, blunder here. Well. I mean, are they gonna trade with the Hatcher? I don't think that's the case, because well, I mean, it's not even that bad if they do. I could bounce the 3-3, but it doesn't actually do anything, because the Scout is still not going to attack. They can always eat it with the Hatcher and basically jump block the 4-5. I don't want to do that. And I can still bounce one of these things on the next turn, so I'm gonna just do this, and I think they are gonna block with the 0-1, which is fine. Hatcher is fine too. And then I can play my Hammer Skull, and they still need to deal with the 2-3 before it actually kills them. Now a land would be nice, because I could play the Kin Collar to make this not get a stun counter and also leave mana up for the blunder. And all the lands I have in the deck are basics, so they will enter untapped. Well, the Scythe isn't the worst, but now I don't... I feel like they're gonna have an exile a tapped creature effect. It could be the +3/+3 thing, but I don't think that's gonna matter too much. I'm actually willing to take here a well, I have so many plays. I could even just bounce this and attack also with the scout, but I'm actually willing to take the stun counter here now and see what they do. Although I could attack with the scout too, and then the problem is they put an 0-1 on here. They're taking the damage. Yeah, okay, fine. I think it's the exile effect, and they maybe even they might be choosing the Larcenist here because this won't even untap anytime soon, and the flyer is a problematic one to deal with. So I do have the option to now save my own Larcenist, of course. Cosmic Blast in there. Okay, well, let them pay the ward. I mean, the Scythe is amazing now. The Scythe is really amazing right now. I didn't expect that card, but that was exactly the 4-mana spell. Because there's also the uncommon that deals 5 damage to a tapped creature. But now it happened to be the one that actually made my Scythe into an amazing one. But there's the Whirlpool. Time for them to deal with that thing. But they have it down to... Yeah, I mean, I can just bounce that thing now. This equip is 4, but I'd rather just bounce that thing and go for the win. Okay. Cosmic Blast. But they also have the Hatcher. I need to be a little bit more careful with the Larcenist. How about Out of Air? Well, they have some instants which I can still counter at 4 mana, but it's a little bit awkward. It's double blue. I don't think I'm gonna sideboard that in, but I am thinking about the second Scythe suddenly. Is that going to make any sense? Probably not too much. One Scythe is good enough. Unless I want to cut the Seed Stones to play the second Scythe. Because I need... The reason I'm thinking about playing this like a little bit underwhelming card is that I have no really interaction other than the couple of bounce spells and the Eaten by Piranhas, and there's the one Final Strike, but our creatures could be bouncing off each other quite a lot because they are playing also green. They have big creatures, so I can't assume that my creatures will dominate with their size. But I also have some flyers in here to maybe push some damage. Scythe is a 3-mana spell. Counters here. I think I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna cut that and just play the other Scythe. I'd rather have an instant speed trick than the sorcery speed one. Okay, I'm keeping this because I need one land. Even if it's just a forest, I can get the Sentinel. They mulligan here, but yeah, this is such a nice 3-drop. They are not playing blue, so this is guaranteed to give me a map token because it's an ETB. Yeah, but I do hope well, that I draw an island right away, but I'm just fine if I can play this thing on turn 3. Well, lucky me. Let's see if this can explode into a spell to prevent this from... And it did. Look at the number of 3 drops in here. I'm going to be able to miss a land drop. Even though I might still not miss a land drop here, because I will have a land drop on the next turn, and then after the charter course I will be drawing a fresh card there. But yeah, I'm not attacking, even though I could. I really could attack, and if they do choose to triple block, I would have the Scythe, which is very nice here, of course. But it's more likely they have like a pacifism for this, and I don't want them to take 2 and then attack for 4. I'll just do this. Because they can pacify the Sentinel. I've seen them have the, well, petrify rather. Okay, a problem. A horrible, horrible problem. Okay then. They can do this and then I am going to lose. So. I'm gonna need to use it eaten by piranhas here. I mean, this is just a crazy bummer. Oh yeah, this is going to be so horrible. I mean, unless they block with 2 creatures now, I'll lose them both. That's the only way. But we will see that right now. Yeah, there's just no point for them to do that. Now what I need to do is I need to play the Larcenist, perhaps. They can still tap that thing too. This is up to 1 other target artifact or creature. Okay, well, that's not so bad then. I can make their I can make their artifact into a treasure token, as long as they can't kill the Larcenist. It's fine, but I will take a bunch of damage from this thing. I can turn it into a 1/1, and it will work with this. It will of course make it lose even all the abilities, and then sets it as a regular 1/1. So yeah, I'm just thinking about if I want to actually turn this into a treasure token or not. I might need to have another blue source, and I will get map tokens from here, so I think I'm gonna do it. Map turns into a treasure. Because they needed to have 5 things to tap, and they actually had it. The Tinker's Thought with this 1000 Moon Smith is really good. Please don't kill the Larcenist immediately. Okay, so base power. I don't know if this base power is like a... Is it constantly the star dot star? Anyway, I can't play anything on their turn. And then... Yeah, I'm not going to attack with the Larcenist now, because they might have the exile a thing. And currently they can't, even if it's a land drop, they can't do it. If they use this treasure to pay for the ward, it doesn't matter, because then this is no longer there. But anyway, I do think I need to make some attack here. I'm very tempted to attack with the Larcenist just to deal more damage, but I think I can... How am I supposed to do it? They have only 1 card in their hand. But I will be so dead when they get to do stuff with this thing, and it's... I mean, I do need to win the game also. It's all about them having the exile effect now on their hand or on top of their deck. It's 2 damage here. It will matter. Ah, it will matter. Okay, I'm gonna attack with everything. I hope they at least lose enough creatures that even if they kill the Larcenist, they don't have stuff to tap. because I have now the Eaten by Piranhas and the Malameth's Guide. This should be allowing me to have good blocks regardless. I could no, this attack is good regardless. And now I will not play the Charticos, I will just play the Kin Collar to you know, add to the board. It's really important now. I wonder if I'm supposed to... No, I don't think I'm supposed to use the treasure with the map, because I can always do that. I don't know which one do I want to pump right now. So we will see if they're gonna exile the Larcenist. It will cost 4 mana to them, and then on the next turn this will be able to do its thing. Also, this will revert back to a... please don't don't hover over my card. Don't target it. Okay, cash. That's a good one though. They can attack with the Kujil now and draw a card unless I'm gonna double block with the... They would draw a card unless I double block that guy. I'm willing to lose my Sentinel of thing. I hope they don't have the 4 damage to a blocker though, but I mean I'm not gonna play around everything. I don't want to give them a free card here. Good. That is fine. No need to worry about that. This gets... Cash gets the thing back, but... Alright. Good. And attacks again with everything. Definitely. Although now I could do pre-combat. Something like this. Twists and turns will be good. It will flip immediately on the next... Oh. On the next turn, yeah, this will be my 6th land. Next turn I can play the 7th to actually flip it. Alright. Since they didn't have the exile effect on the previous turn, I don't think they're gonna have it now either. And any kind of massive, multiple blocks they're gonna make will be met by the Malameth's Guide. My nice sideboarding tech here. Now if they lose their board, it means that even if this Larcenist dies, they won't have things to tap. So they didn't have the tricks I was, afraid they might have. Anyway, the point is, this requires... It may be a little hard to read now that it's with the grey text, but at the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, you may tap 5 untapped artifacts and/or creatures. Then this will transform. Now this can be one of them, but they need 4 other things. And now they lose the board here, assuming they have nothing, and by the concession I do assume that even if they find the exile a tapped creature thing on the Larcenist, that would just mean that they have the smithy here with 2 other things, and it's of course not doing anything at that stage. Okay, well this is a very nice hand. Again, the Nikanzil can do stuff with both the River Herald Guide and the Twists and Turns, and the opponent did Mulligan. They are on the play though. But with the Mulligan it's maybe a little less likely that they have an explosive start. So let's see if they can deal with the Nikanzil. Okay, no, nothing yet. But it could be like a mountain upgrade, of course. But we'll see. Okay, no mountain at least. They can cast a 4-mana artifact if they want to. Or, artifacts total worth of 4 mana. But as long as they don't... Okay, that's a good one. They can even explore right away. But now I need to try to raise. And is gonna be a land. Okay, is this mono blue or what? Anyway, now I'm just gonna need to play my creatures rather than do the twists and turns. I don't need the scry here yet. It's more important to play stuff to the battlefield. So I'll do exactly that. Nikanzili gets a counter or I get an extra land on the battlefield here. And if I get another dino, I can gain 3 life, which can matter in these states for sure. Inverted iceberg, okay, that's... Okay, their second color is white. No planes yet. Unless they exactly now get it. They could have used the siren mana for it, but I guess they want to block here on the... Okay, another iceberg. Alright, they didn't need it. Now they milled 8 planes. Twists and turns. Definitely doing that. Not the seed stones yet. So this is gonna explore and I'm gonna scry any land away. Okay, that's a good one. Definitely that's gonna be on top. And now I can attack. I could even do the seed stones, but because next turn I will have, you know, this explore and the seed stones. I'd rather play my dino right now. But they don't have to know that when they make their block. So I can use the seed stones and the scout. Yeah, that's pretty nice. The ice, I mean, of course, the opponent is totally missing their second color. That said, they have played 4 spells in the game still, so it's not like total nonsense there. Still no white mana. This costs 6 to craft. They could do it with the siren, and they would have to get rid of the other one. Yeah. So let's start with this to see what I'm gonna have there. Then I can play the seed stones. Okay, seems a pretty good one. Let's keep that in there. And now I can even flip the twists and turns on the next turn. So I don't actually need to attack into that Titan right now. This will give it 3 counters only. Yeah, so I guess I could make the Nikanzil like a 7-8, and then they would have to double block to get rid of it. I can make the Kin Collar into 6. No, I can make the River Herald into... I guess I can make the River Herald Guide into a 6 power, 4 toughness, and then give 1 counter to someone else. And if they then don't block with the Titan, yeah, that's fine. I will give 1 more counter to the scout. Like this. And I could attack with everything, but they have the jump block available, so it doesn't make sense. But I will attack with this. I don't care if they take the damage, jump block, or block with the Titan. All of those outcomes are good. And I think because they know the Brachis Plunder is here waiting, they'd rather do that. Also, I have the 7/7 now available, so it's very tough for them to do anything, especially when they know I can bounce anything they might have. You know, these are not big enough creatures to battle through this. But yeah, it was a blue-white deck, then they never got the white spells cast. Double Iceberg does mean I'm going to play the Over the Edge, but how many? I don't like the Seed Stones in this matchup. I'm also tempted to play maybe 2 of them. I can even deal with the Oaken Siren, which I wouldn't mind killing with 2 mana sorcery speed. And also the Double Explorer can be very good with the Nikanzil as well. So it is tempting to use this second Over the Edge. And what I don't need, maybe another frog. Although this can actually trade with their flyers. But the problem with the frog is that I don't really need to, you know, all my spells are like 2 and 3 drops. Apart from the 4 other things here. So the frog is not so important. I could even see cutting like 1 Cavern Stomper, maybe. but probably not. I think I'm gonna cut the frog, and now I'm thinking about the second over the edge or the one of the scythes, which was very good in the previous game, but you don't need a scythe that much against the white and blue deck. The creatures won't be that big. My creatures can overwhelm them without being boosted anymore. So I think I'll just play the second over the edge here. And again a fantastic hand here, but I do have two of these guys. Deconstruction hammer is... I even sideboarded my artifact out. I'm not sure if I have any artifacts other than random tokens here. Okay, they play that. They discarded a clay... Okay, that was a good draw by the way, but they discarded the clay fight bricks. What's up with that? Didn't they... No, it was a mill. Sorry, they didn't discard anything. Wow, Sentinel also. They missed the land drop. Alright, that's not very good for the opponent. Anyway, I'm gonna do this now and let's see if this resolves. Should resolve. Scout is nice. Get a counter there. I can draw 2 with Chardeco's unless right now it's gonna happen something. 4 damage to 4 or 5 damage is a possibility. There's a common that deals 4 and then there is a uncommon that deals 5 to a tapped creature. Anyway, this is all fine still. I don't get the value from the scout, but I still have this Sentinel here, so let's see. Okay, that's a very good card. That is certainly a good card. I'm supposed to play the Sentinel and explore with this thing. Maybe make it a 3-3. Sadly, no. I'm still gonna attack and trade there. They get their 2 free flyers basically here. But I'm also... Okay, Petrify means... Yeah. Well, I have 2 sideboard cards on that, because both of my... Yeah, this definitely seems like a matchup where I should play the Sorcery Speed Artifact Removal. That is not bad. Let's first do this though. Play the land, but they know about that anyway. Yeah, okay, so let's just not that they're tapped out. Although it's not that important. I can do this on their turn because I don't want them to move the hammer away, I don't think so. Next turn I'm play the Stomper, so I'm gonna use this right now to stem the bleeding a little bit. Yep, that's a lot of flyers in there. Okay, let's scry into something sweet. Guess I can take the Stomper, but they are dealing now 4 in the air. But I have life gainers. I have the 3/3s that gain me 3 life, and I have 3 of them in the deck. They are not able to do this quite yet, but they can actually deal 5 in the air because of the hammer, sadly. And I haven't dealt any damage to them because they were able to sadly deal with my stuff. Yeah, the Sanguine Evangelist was of course a very, very, very good card here. Now if they can deal with the first Stomper, I don't think I can have the time to necessarily win, but I'll see what they have. There's not much else for me to do than attack with both and yeah, they can jump all they want. I'm not gonna use 4 mana on that ability. They have a Whirlpool there. Sure, I'm getting beat by the Air Force now. But the Kin Colors were what I wanted. Not sure the Scout is that good even with the Nikanzil here. I'm actually pretty sure I need to draw something better. If they can deal with the other stomper too, that would be horrible. They can make that 6-6 happen. Yep, they have it in the graveyard, they have the clay white bricks. Okay, so... And this has a very relevant attack trigger, they can tap a blocker, so... I don't think this is going to work. Well, I need to do this first, because otherwise it won't be gaining any life. So I had to show that. Now if I want to play my Cancel, I can't use the Stomper. Is there a winning plan here if I don't? I mean, they will tap the Scout. I will have to jump block with the Keen Collar if I'm gonna use the 4-mana ability. I think they might actually choose to double block because they have a 2-turn clock still in the air. Yeah, I don't... No. I don't have any way to enhance damage really. I guess I have the double explore effects. Yeah, I suppose I'm gonna do this and they go to 12. And then I'm forced to jump block here. It was all because of the Evangelist giving them 2 1/1s for free. Wonder how the game would have gone if the Senate Scout got a counter to be a 3/3 from the second Explorer. Oh, they chose to untap the Titan itself. Okay, so I can block with the Scout here. But now I need to find something that prevents the death from the Air Force happening. Oh, more of that. I don't think there's anything now. They are trying to figure out if they should move the hammer. They don't get an extra blocker there, but they already have 2 blockers on the Stomper, so even if I could give it 5 additional power, they are in a very good shape. Okay, so with the Petrify and all that, I definitely want to play both of these over the edges. It's a shame I didn't draw either of them. Now with the Flyers, I could see playing the Stupefaction. The Evangelist is really unknown. Now I know they play Cosmium Blast, but they also play the Exile tapped creature, so Malamet Scythe can save my cry from a Cosmium Blast, but not from the exiling effect. But I guess the exiling effects makes me just not want to play the Stompers at all, and I'm almost tempted to cut a land here. It's something I'm really considering if I'm gonna play at most 3 drops. Because I'm going to play the Scythe number 1 at least, and then I'm thinking about the Song of Stupefaction. They have the 3/2 flyers, it would be nice to neutralize those. Then again, I will be on the play. I have ground creatures that are bigger than their stuff. I could just hope that I can raise them with these cards. I can play both Scythes in here, and I will just raise. And I'm almost, yeah, considering just cutting a land because I could play 15 in terms of mana curve. The problem with that is that it's gonna make it more difficult to hit my colors. I need both on turn 2. So let's see the color count. There 11 blue, 15 green. If this was a monocolor deck with this mana curve, I would play only 15 lands. I have to make a decision in 30 seconds. Because I would maybe play like a... Well, I don't know if I need to play anything. I'm gonna just do this, just to make sure I at least have both my colors and see me having a bad starting hand, but let's see. Okay, I'm happy about this. Very powerful start with the Sentinel here, and now over the edge on the pacifism. Also a little bit of a interaction here. Also that thing. So if they Cosmium Blast this thing, be my guest. Not gonna blunder that away. If they pacify that guy, I have the over the edge. They did have all they needed, but I have this stuff in here. They need another way to deal with that. And I can play the Malcolm. And I will play the Malcolm rather than use the map tokens right now. Okay, so they had a triple removal start. Let's see if that's gonna... Okay, got the Dino for that. It is actually really tempting, because this will allow me to loot. I could just bounce this guy, but I actually rather do this right now. Hope to find a land and I can loot that thing away. I mean, I don't need this at all, so I can just get rid of that regardless. Well, I'm playing the Hammer Skull now, so I guess I'm gonna discard whatever I draw here. Because I want to have the Plunder and the Kin Collar here for sure. So let's see if they have a fourth removal. They could have the Exile a tapped creature, but there's also two things they need to deal with. And I have the Kin Collar so that this won't pick up a stun counter. It's also so that they did miss a fourth land drop, but I'm sure they can play many things with 3 mana, but I guess not a lot of things that can deal with the Hammer Skull. Unless it is just the other Petrify, or if they pass with 3 mana open, that's probably gonna be the exiling a tapped creature, but I have a Brachis Plunder for that. And they still need to deal with the Malcolm. That said, they have a lot of flyers, they can just trade in the air with it. But they are really thinking hard now what is their play. The start was very good against my start. They had the Blast for the Conductor, they had a Petrify for this and another Petrify for it once I destroyed the... Okay, they do that. This is fine though, I will bounce that guy. I will leave mana up. So they had a triple Petrify deck at least, and they drew all of them, which are very good in this particular situation. More removal. Is this like a mono removal? So this is very different from the game they played in the game 2. If they try to kill the Hammer Skull, I'm going to just bounce that. I mean, it is the biggest threat here right now. Maybe I even should leave this. Yeah, because I could bounce this now, but then again I couldn't even recast it. I think I'm gonna leave the Plunder in my hand for now. Okay, finally something that doesn't actually do anything here. And I can even win the game here now. Alright. Bye bye. Again, a great hand. I mean, this deck has such a low mana curve that it should have great hands, but it's still not given that you get both colors and a reasonable number of lands. Of course, this 3 lands with both colors available is as good as it gets. for most decks. Again, opponent is mulliganing, so I've been luckier than my opponents in that regard. Alright, so frog time. Next turn I can just kin collar into twists and turns. Blue again. They could have a Brachis Blunder. Annoying, but let's see what happens. They could have a counter spell as well, but I mean they can counter this. Alright, so now I'm actually... It could be the -1, -2 thing too. So let's see if they have a Brachis Blunder, how big of a problem that is. Not very. It could be the 1 mana, 1/2 that gives -2 power as an ETB. Alright, Hammer Skull is pretty nice, we will keep that on top. So no Blunder for them, or could be... I was saying that it could be one of the land cyclers, but it was actually a little bit better now. I have the Larcenist and the Blunder and all that for that, so... And you only have to worry about this mostly when it gets the 4th one. I mean, it's not nice to give the opponent loots, but when they get the free card and a free spell, then it's basically almost game over. Not exactly, but it's a huge. You can imagine, get the free card and you can cast the card for free. Another blue-white, but I of course have a pretty good start here with the stuff I have going on. Now I don't have here a... Yeah, I think I'm gonna play the Charter Course and hope to get a land drop here, because it would be great to play the... have my land drop and also play the Hammer Skull. And if I don't have a land in top 2... Yeah, it's... I mean, then I'm gonna... The thing is, if I'm not gonna draw a land in top 2, I'm gonna draw something that costs 2, quite likely. And I can still use the Brachis Blunder even if that's not the case. So let's just do this. Okay, no land. Plunder it is then. I think I'm gonna do this right away. Oh, this thing has reach though. Then again, I don't want to lose my mana source, but this frog can just kill the Malcolm. But this way I denied them a bounce, and I didn't want them to have a counter spell to somehow prevent that from happening, so it was safer to do that. I got my Sentinel, which is really good of course, but missing land drops here means that I don't get like too good stuff. Well, we'll see. I can explore and it comes with a scry even. Problem is if they have like something for the kin color. Okay, I like that they do that main phase. They want to explore on that thing. That's the explanation. They didn't get to enhance its toughness though, but now this is good because I can simply... well, I have a bunch of options, but only at most... Well, I can explore into land, that's a thing. So am I supposed to explore first? Make this maybe into a 5/5 if I don't hit my land. Yeah. And actually I'm gonna do it with this. Just in case they have something from 1 white. I don't think that's the case. Scry. Oh. That's so good. That is so good, but I would have only... So only 4 mana on the next turn. I will be playing the Hammer Skull of course, and this will be a 5/5. I guess I can scry into a land on the next turn. Oh, I would need to play in that case the Sentinel to make that a reality. I think I just can't be that greedy, can I? If I could double spell, that would be a so different story, but I'm gonna, just try this thing away. And this is gonna be milled. So, still no land. Anyway, let's attack for 5. And play the Hammer Skull. Now if they... Well, this is now 11 damage on the ground. At least I'm threatening something. I still have, of course, my Larcenist and all this good stuff. But yeah, that was I kept the 3 lander, and after all the scries and explores and draw steps, I'm still having 3. But I'm able to function, of course, with that. I can cast all my spells except for the Stompers, and at least I can't cast a Stomper. Although this is game 1, I do have the Jade Stones too, but I do have 4 mana as well. But it would be a time to find a land, maybe. They discarded an Iceberg. Understandably, this game will be soon over either by them winning or me. Although maybe the Larcenist can delay. There's a Petrify. Another opponent against which I'm gonna just put both of the... I'm gonna actually sideboard in a similar way as in the previous game. I'm gonna get rid of my 6 drops and seed stones and all that. They did not find anything. Plunder is good, but you know, a land would have been even better. There's no reason to Larcenist yet. I'm just gonna do this and again do the Explorer on the Keen Caller. And sadly I can't... yeah, I'm gonna draw this. Can't threaten the block yet, but because the Frog can just block the Malcolm. But I'm gonna go down to 8. Oh, they're gonna go for jumps. Yeah, they want to fin in the air, but because I do have the Larcenist and the Plunder here, and the Reach guy, and still 8 power in the ground, I think I can pull this off unless they have a, you know, they can have the 5 mana rat effect, stuff like that, but until they do, I think I can beat them having regular commons. Yeah, the Warden isn't really now the greatest, they don't want to be tapping their stuff. It is a cheap jump blocker, but I suppose they have something else. Oh, they have no artifacts. Oh, did they think they have an artifact? This isn't gonna do nothing here. Okay. Any reason to pre-combat anything? No. Practice Plunder. I mean, I don't have a lethal attack, so let's just get a map token and deal 8 damage here. They have the -2, -0 guy here, apparently. Or maybe not. They do have a Wrestler, which gives them 4... yeah, they can double block that guy now. Wonder if I'm supposed to use my bounce spell like this now. That's the reason, of course, why they played the Pirates. So I'm even losing this. That's a little bad. And I don't want them to recast the Pirates, because they can then lock down something, because the Wrestler is an artifact. So I think I'm supposed to let that thing go. I know I could have bounced the Sentinel itself and recast it, but I have so many things to cast here that I don't think it's what I want to be doing. It is time to use the Brachis Plunder, I would say. I'm gonna play the River Herald Guide and leave mana up for the Plunder. That's good one to keep drawing, and I can threaten to block the Malcolm, and then if they have something, I use the Plunder. And then I still have the Larcenist and the Piranhas here, of course. Yeah, I'll just block here, I'm not gonna take all that damage. Okay. Well, I'm gonna accept this. Don't have the mana though. Maybe well, doesn't matter. I had to have the frog untapped anyway. So now I'm of course having a little bit lower amount of mana available, but I can play the Eaten by Piranhas, which they know about. So they won't have a good double block. Yeah, okay, so let's go attack 5. Sadly, I mean I could use the map to try to make this into a 6-6, but I mean they have the 1-2 anyway, it doesn't matter. They maybe just jump block it. Okay, Plunder on there. Well, they had it. They had it. I mean, I'm gonna get the life here, but the problem is that I don't have that. Well, I guess I'm gonna hope to just yeah, I have the Scry, so this needs to find a land. Which it can if I scry a non-land away if I don't see one. Okay, that's fine. And then I will have a 1-2 here, which is fine as well. It actually can block the Nautilus, that's pretty funny. But now I go down to, back to 9 here. And they are top decking now. They have the Scry, sorry, the Explorer available, of course. I don't need to reveal a Dino because I have a Dino on the battlefield. Yeah, so the 1-4 becomes a 4-1. Oh, they can actually, yeah, they can explore this thing into a 2-5. Then I would have to block with the Kin Collar. It's not the worst. I can take the 2 damage a few times here, of course. And they even realize that they probably want to have a faster clock in the air. Okay, that thing. They know about the Piranhas, they don't know about the Plunder here. Okay, that's interesting attack. Maybe they have a trick here, but I will just block with the Scout, of course. I guess I could double block and kind of force them to use the ability and then trade with the Kin Collar, but I guess that's like a little bit riskier, so I'm going to just do this. Okay. They have another Staunch Crewmate. They already had one. Their deck is pretty good. But hopefully that doesn't find anything too good, like an iceberg. So I can make the Scout into a 2-2 ground guy. With the Piranhas, it's gonna of course still get the counter. I have a total of 6 mana right now. Now I could just play the Stomper, because what artifact can they find here that would make this deal 3? Stomper is just lethal, because you know this 3-3 is the only thing that can attack. So the artifact has to be something really good. So I think the Stomper is the play. Because that allows me to win on the next turn. Barring them getting exactly what they need. I mean, the land is not so bad, it will transform this thing, but I don't think I have time for that anyway, so I'd rather get this land on the bottom. So, can they somehow add 3 damage with the artifact they're gonna maybe find here? Or not just an artifact, a pirate also works. They found nothing. So now I have a lethal, especially because they did attack. Because they can make the Nautilus into a, they can, yeah, I mean this is a victory now. These guys can't block and I have the, they even know that I have even the Plunder, but it doesn't matter. I just attack with this. And the Nautilus isn't gonna work with the Eaten by Piranhas here. Seven damage unblocked. Alright. And I never actually needed to use the Larcenist. That was funny. All the Blunder here. But of course the reason is that I missed my land drop, so I didn't have time to cast all the spells. Now. Yeah, they have a Blunder, they have a Petrify. I don't need my 6-6 here. I definitely don't need them. They also have pretty good deck here. Okay, 6-6 and the Seed Stones go away. I will play both over the edges. There are some artifact stuff. You know, the Nautilus is a nice thing to deal with the inverted iceberg once they make it into a 6/6 and all that. And how about anything I can do about the flyers? Stupefaction thing. I want to play at least one Scythe. Do I want to play... What was the sideboarding in the previous match? Did I... don't think I want to cut here or anything. It would be really tempting to just actually play 15 lands here with the mana curve, but... it's a little risky. I want to keep getting my starting hands with both island and a forest available. So maybe I won't be playing the second Scythe, and this is just it. I will also be on the draw here, so... yeah, let's not go crazy. This is fine. And, well, the starting hand isn't as good now because I don't have a 2-drop, but it's still gonna have to be a keep. And I won't be playing this until I have a creature to target. It's just, there's also a chance that I will draw my 2-drop here, which I did. Let's see now if I can... oh, did they actually keep a... okay, that's nice. Did they keep a 7 cards 1-lander? Okay, opponent. I don't think that's kind of the way to win. That really isn't. Okay, let's get our 1 map token. They might have a land petrify, but I might... if not, then I of course get more map tokens. That has to be a petrify. Why would they keep a 1-lander if it doesn't have a very relevant 2-drop here? Okay, I don't still think that they are in a very good shape here. I will be twisting and turning on the scout here. Not gonna need any lands. That's a very decent one to have. So let's keep it there and just attack these. They are not gonna block. So yeah, I don't think it's gonna be very easy for them now that they had this slow start. That probably was a mulligan to 6. Assuming I somehow didn't realize that they already did go to 6. I think they kept 7. Because of course at 6 you will keep a lot riskier hands. That can get rid of scout, but I will get rid of the petrify. Play the frog. Yeah, I think this is a less exciting game because they haven't been able to do that much. Yeah, that was a keep. They really wanted to hit like a... probably also they needed an island there somewhere, but maybe they had like a white 3-drop also and white 4-drop or something, or maybe like multiple white 3-drops. But anyway, not much of a challenge. Alright, another blue-green trophy here, but well, let's keep in mind that I did have a Sentinel of the Nameless City. I had a Hammer Skull with multiple dinos to make it not get the stun counters, and I had the Kite Sailor Larcenist. And I think, yeah, I didn't have the Larcenist out so many times, although the one time I did have it, it disabled the 1000 Moon Smithy, or what's that for, amazing bomb rare from white. But I had the Sentinel and the Hammer Skull many times, and of course they were pretty darn good, and double Nikansil with many explore effects is also great. I did not actually get to benefit from the Malcolm too much, which is why I didn't, mention it really. But of course there is a high quality 2-drop, always a first pick in a pack one pick one situation, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, the deck was good, and it was kind of a shame that I didn't dare to go 15 lands, because this mana curve here, this actually can easily play 15 lands. Especially with the 2-drop and 1-drop explore effects, to even dig into the third one if I'm stuck at 2. But the problem with always when you're running less than, even when you're running less than 17 is the hitting your colors. Because I really don't want to ever have 7 sources for my main color that has 2-drops available that I want to play on turn 2. But yeah, you could sometimes find a one color so open in a draft that you can have a monocolor deck with this kind of mana curve even, and then you could play 15 lands in a monocolor deck because you don't have to worry about hitting the correct colors. But yeah, that was a fun event, also once again showcasing my, the best of three feature of sideboarding. The over the edges were helpful, and even the Malamet Scythe was kind of like accidentally helpful, because I hadn't seen the Cosmium Blast from the opponent, but in the one game at least I had sideboarded this in, and then I was able to blow off. Just counter the Cosmium Blast on the Larcenist thanks to having this Scythe available. Yeah, that was that. Am I supposed to put to 40 cards before this thing accepts this? Yep. Okay. Let's claim the prize here, and hopefully this train of good results will continue. Thank you for watching, and bye bye.